Yeah, Chevy Fox right there, baby. I love that song.
That was sick, Johnny Mac.
Yeah, that was mean. Those jokes was mean. I ain't gonna front. I would never say them in public.
Oh my God.
On air, you mean?
Yeah, I would never say them on air.
Yeah,
We all be.
yeah, you said them in public.
Yeah, we all be working down at Home Depot if I said those jokes. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to the tweets that Gilbert Gottfried
tweeted.
That he tweeted it.
That cost him his career or
his last
job.
tweets.
One of them was, I just split up with my girlfriend, but like the Japanese say, there'll be another one floating by any minute now.
That's funny.
That's not funny.
That's funny. That's hysterical. But what's wrong with that?
That's just
He
mean.
never said the person was dead or anything. He just said the person going to be floating by.
Well, that tells you where he's going. That's not being sensitive to the people who are floating by.
Yeah,
How do you think they feel?
That don't mean they was dead. Well, if they was dead, I ain't gonna get into this. You ever maybe go down the wrong.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about one of my relatives floating by, I'm not laughing at that.
Well, if you over there, you shouldn't be listening to the radio. You should be tweeting anyway.
Another one that he said is, my Japanese doctor advised me to stay healthy. I need 50 million gallons of water a day.
That's funny.
Again,
fired. That's funny.
Instead of Affleck is fired.
Yeah, y'all say every time we do it.
We'll judge your joke right
What's
now.
another one? That was funny though.
What does every Japanese person have in their apartment?
What?
Floodlights.
Fired. That's funny.
I fired.
I fired. I'm fired.
Right.
I'm fired. But here's okay, one more, Brandon.
This one I think is appropriate for him. Japan called me. They said maybe those jokes are hitting the U.S., but over here they're all sinking.
Now, I'm fired. Yeah, that was a bad joke. But this is my stand on it. So the cat been working for Affleck for 11 years. So if he says something wrong or do something wrong, just one thing, no matter how big it is, how small it is, he made a mistake. Let's all take for granted he made a mistake. Should he have been fired?
I think, to Lewis's point, if 75% of their business is in Japan.
And this is an
not
insurance
anymore,
company.
but keep going.
No, I
no,
mean, they got a lot of work to do.
They got a lot of work to do right now.
They got a lot of work.
So that means now you've upset. Well, I don't know if any I'm sure that the word is some kind of way. Technology is the word is spread to Japan that their lead spokesman is doing Affleck jokes.
SOS lifesaver,
Right.
but keep going.
That's going to make them lose money.
And it's
for them to save face, they're like, listen, don't drop us as a company. We're going to drop this spokesman and we're going to remove ourselves from what he said because we're not responsible for what he just said.
Should he have been fired for one mistake? That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I just think that was an incredibly not too bright move. I mean, but then the question is, and maybe you guys can answer it, Johnny Mac, like, how do you feel about somebody telling you when and where you can joke about things?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you tell a comic on stage, of course, most comics and most human beings, we're still human beings. We're gonna be sensitive to what just happened. It was a terrible, terrible tragedy, and we all praying for them, and we're gonna donate.
Imagine a white
money.
dude being the spokesman for Roscoe's and he's doing nigger jokes.
That widow without the hot sauce.
But you keep in mind they don't use his voice in Japan. I think it's somebody that does it in his dialect or his, But I'm sure again, you got to keep in mind that there's so much animosity still between the two countries because you think there's a lot of people who are still
Since
alive.
1941?
World War II. There's a lot of. You figure the people in power, the people are
dead.
No, the people and money people still. That's why when you see older white men and older Japanese men, they don't like each other. They still remember that pain. And if you can feel the tension.
2 fortune cookies will cure all that.
Wow.
Chinese.
What about you, Lewis?
Chinese
Like,
I want to know when is Lewis around to study this phenomenon? Like,
No, I think he's just
the
making up
Japanese dude's
facts.
walking down the street. Watch this.
No, I
should have told the white people to make your shirt more whiter.
No, I'm gonna tell you when you do notice. If you ever go to a golf course, you go off.
Yep.
You see that. Do you see how the older Japanese guys look at the older white men?
They look at us like that too.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have lost his job. He made a mistake. We got a phone call from Monique from Baltimore. Monique, how you feel about it, baby?
Hi, how is everybody?
Hey, we're doing great. How are you?
Yeah, I think so. I think he absolutely should have been fired, but it was on a business point of view. Like you said, 75% of the business. That I got fired because first of all, you're right. It wasn't a bright move. He got fired because you're costing me money.
On the
other hand, a lot of money. And on the other hand, had it been Larry the Cable Guy, and hypothetically there were numerous amounts of blacks that were strung up on trees, and he made a mention about, it's a new orchard down there, there's a different kind of fruit. Then what would you say? You know what I mean?
I don't know what I would say because it didn't happen.
I'm just saying. I just think he should. I mean, we have the right to say anything we want out of our mouth, but we also have to realize that there's consequences that come with that. You know, you've been with us for 12 years, and you don't know that most of my business is in Japan. It's like you said, it wasn't a mistake. You did that 12 times. You thought you was funny. No.
I thought it was funny, too.
No, Monique, you make a good point.
Not really. Thanks for the phone call, Monique. and I understand what you're saying. But what I don't think this man, he wasn't attacking the race. He didn't say anything. If you look about it, he was talking about it's insensitive to the people that died in the tsunami. I understand that. But he said, I just lost my girlfriend, but I ain't tripping because there'll be another one floating by. Boom.
But I mean, it is insensitive, and let us know what you think. Give us a call at 877-210-610. Lou Diggs, how do you feel about people censoring your jokes?
My jokes are not funny enough to censor.
That's
so
true.
You know what?
That's true.
I mean, so you know, but
we didn't call the comedy cops on you.
No.
Your jokes are disrespecting my race.
He's waiting for a joke book to float by.
No, you know, Chris, that's funny, man. You are too funny.
Oh, man.
You are too funny. You're going to have your own show on Wednesdays.
I'm sorry, you did already.
And guess who's the warm-up? You're never going to beat me.
That was funny.
Go ahead, Lewis.
No, I just think it definitely. I think you should. In this day and age, you have to censor yourself if you want to keep working. Well, because you want. All right, let's see an example.
Why? You know what's crazy? Not to cut you off, but this was crazy.
You are cutting them off.
We supposed to have freedom of speech, right? But as soon as I say something that you don't like, you take away my freedom.
No, well, you know what this is? This isn't about freedom of speech. This is about
that's your First Amendment.
Yes, you do
have
a First Amendment right, but what this is about is the combination of creative art and corporate,
commerce.
And commerce. Well, so that's when it becomes a problem. It's not saying that you can't say it.
You can say what you want,
but
but something's going to happen.
But you might lose your job over
Like
it.
right now, you can't say nothing too bad about Jamie Foxx or we're gone.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
now,
the
like,
boss.
here's an example. I was going to make
That's
this
true,
example.
but I can say something about Marcus King if we still be here.
But now, here's the thing.
That's what Speedy thought.
No, here's an example. Here's an example. Here's an example. Jamie Foxx. I think you also have to have enough talent.
Let me so breathe for a minute.
Okay, that was funny.
No, fuck with the Wiz, goddammit.
But here's an example of knowing your audience and knowing the line of a joke.
And his audience.
Jamie Foxx was at the White House.
Right.
And he did a lot of funny jokes that a lot of us couldn't do against Biden, against Obama, but he knew the line.
Absolutely.
He knew the line. So you got to know the line and know where your talent is going to cross the line.
But that's true. But if I cross the line, because as comics, we're going to say good and bad things. I'm going to cross the line from time to time.
Right.
It's going to happen. But you give me that freedom and the same creative mind. You got to think when I'm trying to be creative, I'm not thinking about, I may get in trouble for saying.
You need to think about that,
But
though.
You don't think about that because you know
it depends on the
how hard
comic.
it is to come up with a joke. How hard it is to come up with a joke.
Yeah, but you know when to be respectful and when not to be respectful. You know what I mean?
Okay, I know.
It's like when you did stand-up and, like, somebody from your church was in the audience or your parents were in the audience. Okay, I'm not going to do that one.
Right.
Just like you took time to say, okay, I'm not going to say this one on the air because it's a little too rude. So we know our audiences. There's sometimes we do a corporate room, sometimes we do a ghetto room.
But all I'm saying is you got to allow that. You got to allow that cat to make that mistake. I shouldn't be afraid to say something because if I say anything that you don't like, then I'm gonna lose my job.
You got to be afraid now.
We got another phone call. We got my man Phil from Nebraska. What's up, Phil?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing great, man.
Cornhuskers.
Yes, sir.
Did y'all
You know
lose?
what I was listening to y'all, and everybody's got great points, about the First Amendment, freedom of speech. But it's all about being in the corporate world now. And that's why he lost his job.
Right.
In that corporate world, they figured we better take action before it becomes a problem. If they got 75% of their business coming from the Japanese population, then they figured we better get rid of him before it becomes an issue. And like the lady said earlier, they start dropping off policies because of what this man said. So
Absolutely.
should he lost his job? I don't know, but he probably should have been reprimanded. Losing his job was probably a little much, but they did what they had to do.
Thank you for that phone call.
Thanks, Phil.
I think your point works, Johnny Mac, in the comedy club.
Okay.
Right. That's where we can say anything we want,
That's
and
true.
we have permission, and it's like, hey, I'm a comedian.
But you know what, Chris Spencer, and you're 100%
but
right.
if you work for Levi's and you're disrespecting Levi's, you know what I mean? You can't do that.
That's just
You can't work at McDonald's and say Burger King's way better than us. You know, there's
too many
something
Actually, you
SECs
can't.
on
They
this
don't
month.
care.
you're going to lose your job.
You know what's crazy? They fired this cat even before there was any repercussions. You don't even know if the people was angry or not. You don't even know how they felt.
Well, it's like
they
our
might,
boss
They
says.
might have laughed. They might have laughed. We didn't even give them a chance to see if it was going to be.
And that's what, and that was smart. Affleck was like, before we find out that
They
they're going
roasted
to
the duck before he even got a chance to be plucked.
I mean, clearly they probably
put
just had.
sweet
I mean,
sour sauce on the duck.
They killed the duck before he got plucked.
Oh, that's
What
funny.
was you saying, Brandon?
I was just saying that maybe they had a no tolerance policy. I mean, they got to
Absolutely.
it before it became a
No,
problem.
it was a.
Yes.
They
There's no such thing
exercised
as no
the moral
tolerance.
clause.
Yes,
No,
there
he had a
is.
moral
Clearly
clause in
there
his
is.
contract.
There's no such thing as no tolerance. You got to have tolerance in people. People, human beings make mistakes.
Johnny Mac,
Not
here's
when
the-
you're paying them.
here's the
To
problem.
err is the human, but
Here's
to
the problem,
forgive is
Johnny Mac.
divine.
Johnny Mac, here's the problem.
I read that in the fortune
I
cookie.
figured it out. You've always had jobs that were artistic
Right.
as well as autistic. So you've always got to use your smarts or your dumbs to make $1.
Right.
You have a creative mind, so you never had to work in a corporate setting where some things can't be said. Like here, you're at the Foxxhole. We can say whatever we want to a
Right.
certain extent.
Right.
We've been patted on the wrist.
But we
a
didn't
couple
get
times.
fired. We didn't get fired.
Yes, because
Yes, we did.
look around the room.
Look at all the empty chairs.
Look around. Look around.
Look around. Listen, the sketch show we're writing for, there's certain things we can't say because we're on that network, and they have corporate sponsors. So there is
But when I did say those things, like I wrote this sketch that everybody King hates the sketch. I wrote this sketch HIV friendly about a dude with AIDS. We get into that later.
Right.
And when I did send it, they didn't fire me. They were like, Johnny Mac, we can't do this.
But that's why I never.
But I
never
didn't
would've
get
been-
fired.
because it never made it. Had that sketch went on there, King would have got fired.
King hates that sketch.
He hated it.
We got another phone call. Who we got right here? We got my man King Rich from Texas. Didn't they lose?
No.
Yo, what's good? What's good, baby?
King Rich.
Y'all still in the NCAA? Did y'all win today?
I'm from Texas, man. Corpus Christi, Texas, home of Selena, baby.
Yeah, Texas University played today. Did y'all win?
I don't know.
Way to go, King Rich.
Hey, you gonna pay me for that information? I'll be like a spokesperson for y'all, man.
Yeah, we gonna pay you for it.
How you feel about the topic?
Well, see, first of all, I want to highlight out to Louis Dix. That's my man's right there. Y'all always be messing with my man's right there. But we're gonna ride for you down there in Texas, baby.
Well, good looking out, man. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the love, man. See?
All right. Second of all, Chris Spencer, they took you. I mean, you had a live show, brother. Then they took you off. I think because you was always high. You look like you were smoking some of that good California.
I got allergies.
He's allergic to bullshit. Now, do you think Gilbert Gottfried should have got fired for for tweeting those jokes about the Japanese cats in the tsunami situation?
My whole thing is, man, they claim we got a First Amendment or whatnot like that. But as soon as you say something that's gonna ruffle the feathers of some people that actually got money to change everything going on in the United States, then they want to trip. You know what I mean? I really don't understand how he can lose his job, but then you can make any kind of joke you want about Katrina, and nobody lost as much as a weed seed.
He said nobody lost a weed seed.
King. That was funny.
And that was funny. But you know what? That's true.
But let's not make it racial. It wasn't.
It's not about being racial.
Okay,
Well,
well,
because
that's,
50 Cent
Katrina was niggas floating.
Right, well, yeah, true that. 50 Cent actually made some comments about the thing, but I mean, there was nobody who's going to fire him. There was nobody to fire him. He wasn't on
75
anybody's campaign.
$1.
Yeah, but he's not
But people
representing
didn't like it. But you know, they can't say you can't say it. But
Right.
he wasn't working for a company that
Right.
was paying him.
We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back into what 50 Cent said, because I'm quite sure. Did he put it in a rap?
Then nobody heard it.
Did he say it or Jeremiah said? Who said it? Save that till we come back. And I love this topic. Shout out to Gilbert Gottfried. Somebody said he didn't lose as much as a weed seed.
That was brilliant.
We'll be right back here on the Foxxhole.